The Presidential Palace of Wagadoogu, a place frequented by ministers, guards, and intelligence agencies. But one day, a figure entered those grand halls that no one could have imagined, a maid. Her name was Alma. Soft-spoken, eyes always downcast, 24 years old. She was hired through a private company and cleared all security checks. She always arrived on time, remained quiet, and avoided direct eye contact with any officer. But on her fourth day at work, as she served President Ibrahim Taraveer a cup of jasmine tea, something happened that shook the entire state machinery. President Taraveer noticed something, a shiny metallic object just beneath her scarf. It was a covert audio device, the kind worn in the ear. And just like that, it was revealed. Alma wasn't just a maid, she was a living recorder. But the president didn't get angry. He didn't call security. He didn't panic. Instead, he kept the conversation going. And right there, a new deception-based strategy was born. A fake military coup plan, fabricated failed negotiations with Russian advisors, and false tensions with General Musa Diallo. All these fictional details were deliberately fed to Alma so they would reach the enemy. And within 72 hours, the enemy reacted. The lies were told with expert precision. Misinformation was used as a weapon to provoke the enemy into acting and, in doing so, revealing their real position. It worked. The enemy began amassing vehicles at the eastern border. Secret radio channels saw an uptick in traffic. And after a false announcement of military insurrection, enemy forces started preparing for an attack. Once everything was in motion, the president launched Operation Echo Curtain. As the enemy advanced, they didn't find empty checkpoints. They encountered hidden military squads equipped with night vision. During this time, 6 intelligence raids were carried out within the city of Wagadoogu. A printing press used for transmitting coded messages. A dentist's clinic where satellite prints were hidden. A wine bar where covert meetings were held. All of it was uncovered through Alma's silent observations. Later, the president called Alma into a private room, a quiet space, and an honest conversation. You brought them to us. You guided them using false maps. And you became the channel through which we reached the enemy. Now, you have 2 options, he told her. Either I hand you over to them, or you work for me. Alma paused, then removed the listening device and placed it in front of him. I'm tired. I'm tired of running. 3 days later, she provided her code name, agent number, and internal details of the enemy organization. But when asked who was at the top, she hesitated. This wasn't fear, it was strategy. The implication was, the real enemy wasn't outside the palace, it was inside. A few days of intense investigation, document analysis, and system monitoring revealed a name. Minister Yassine Taraveer, the president's cousin. The same man who sat 3 seats away from the president in every security meeting. The president didn't order an arrest. He didn't lose his temper. He laid another trap, spread another lie, and waited for Yassine's next move. When a confidential file from Yassine's office was sent to a non-government server, the truth was confirmed. This time, the president called Yassine into a private room and placed a paper in front of him. This is your signed betrayal. Yassine smiled and said, I did it for Baka. You started a war. We've learned to live in the shadows. But the president replied, you sold my trust. You played a game that cost people their lives. In a public address, the president declared, even if someone is from my own family, if they turn away from the truth, they will not be forgiven. Minister Yassine was dismissed. But the most astonishing part? The president chose justice over revenge, strategy over rage, and gave the people a powerful message. Vengeance isn't strength, insight is. Alma, the maid who became a spy. The spy who became a frontline defense. The defense that led to the enemy's defeat. She wasn't punished. She was given a second chance. She was sent to a village where people had lost faith in the government and made a communications officer to listen, to teach, and to rebuild trust. The president told her, if you fail, you'll disappear. If you succeed, no one will remember you. That is your real test. Alma accepted the challenge because she had learned. Saying sorry is not enough. You have to earn forgiveness. And finally, the president told his advisors, "We cannot survive on force alone. We must think better, listen better, and if needed, endure better. But we cannot become like them to defeat them." Friends, Alma's story doesn't end here. It begins anew. A girl who had seen war and bloodshed since childhood, who was abducted from her village and trained in Malaysia, who once believed in violence and hatred as the only true power, had now discovered a new strength, the strength of truth. In the Presidential Palace of Wagadoogu, the president not only defeated the enemy, he gave Alma a new life. He might be the first president in history to take an enemy spy and turn her not into a weapon for war, but a weapon for peace and wisdom. Today, Alma works for widows whose husbands were killed in war, for children who go to bed hungry, for students who have books but no light. She now leads a non-profit organization called Voice of Free Burkina, dedicated to educating refugee children, training women in skills, and above all, giving people the courage to speak the truth. Their slogan? "If my voice ever goes silent, let my silence speak the truth." For millions, friends, we must realize, the enemy isn't always behind bullets, and heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes an innocent girl, or a gentle-speaking president, can do what tanks and guns never could. If people like Alma can change, if a leader like Taraveer can forgive, then maybe we can learn too. Defeating an enemy isn't always about killing. Sometimes, changing them is victory. If this story touched your heart, if you want the world to know about such leaders, such women, and a changing Africa, please share this video. Subscribe to Journey Marg and become a part of these stories. The ones that don't just make you listen, but make you think. Because we bring you truths, not just hidden, but never told. One step toward forgiveness. One step forward. Like Alma, there's a story hidden inside all of us. All it takes is a leader to awaken it. Or maybe, a voice, perhaps yours.